Hi, I'm Jason, and welcome to the morning ritual for guitar growth. Today, we're like every other day at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are running with the metronome at 60 beats per minute so that we can inform our breathing. Good morning, Kevin. Good morning. Good morning. So we can inform our breathing, we can inform our physical approach to the guitar, we can inform our continuum that we'll engage with. So before we get started, I'd like to start with setting an intention, and this intention can be something good. It's basically something good from yourself, for myself, for ourselves, and it could be specifically related to the guitar. As we approach the guitar, it could be specifically related to something that we have going on in our lives that we'd like to allocate some more energy to. So we're just taking a moment to set that intention now, and that will help to ground us for a productive and effective morning ritual session. Okay. So let's go ahead and keep going. So we have the A440, which I've already tuned. My A string has already been tuned to 440, so we'll go ahead and use it as a reference tone. If you don't mind, let's check it out with A. Good morning. I see, it's good morning, Mark. Good morning, Kevin. Good morning, Bernie. Good morning. Hope everything's going well this morning. Sky, Anime, Sky, good morning. Mark, Dan, good morning. Dan, how are you today? Guitar for everyone. What a great concept. Yeah. Mark, good morning again, Mark. Anthony, good morning. Good morning. So we have just tuning up the A string to the D string to the A string. And simple stuff. Simple stuff. And that it sounds like those two are good to go. I'm not sure. Do you guys usually come already to go, tuned up? Or do you use tuning as part of your warm-up to the warm-up? Hey, horrorcore, what's going on? Dan, I'm glad to see your guitars, your beautiful Hagstrom and the Georgette. That's just, those are cool guitars. And again, it really helps to inform me. I've got a couple of beauties from Anthony, our friend Anthony Tortorello, in the queue, and we've got some others here. We've got quite a few guitars lined up here, so it's great to learn a little bit more about the guitars and the axes that we use to accomplish our objectives. So let's go ahead and start today with that same breath. I'm really conscious about my posture. Do not wish to exacerbate workplace injury. And I see now that I'm using ring and middle, or third finger and middle. Third finger and pinky. There we go. Let's get a little more bean in there. Oh, that's nice hot bean. Just black coffee. That'll do it. 1 E and a 2 E and a T E and a 4. Johnny Ramones. Hey, what's going on? Ciao. From Milano, Italy. Good morning. So 1 E and a 2 E and a T E and a 4, fingers 3 and 4, frets 11 and 12. Hey, Scott, I saw your guitars. You've got some guitars coming too, don't you? Yes, you do. Very cool shots. Ciao, well, good morning, Johnny. I'm so glad that you're here, Johnny Ray Ramones. In case you're just tuning in, what we're doing here is a morning ritual for guitar growth. And the point of this is to just continue to grow as guitar players. And you know, there's not a whole lot of marketability here, other than we're hoping to just solve for X, whatever that is, you know, whatever day it is. There's so much to practice. So fingers 2 and 3, 1 E and a 2 E and a T E and a 4 E and a. So much to practice. So how do we distinguish between a warm-up and like a first of the day opener warm-up to, you know, something that we do in the middle of the day where we want to specialize, where we're attempting to, you know, blow through some surgical arpeggios, triad arpeggios, or dyadic arpeggios. In the middle of the day, if we wanted to, so how do we distinguish what we're doing right now with that? That's a good question. I find that there is a difference between structured and disciplined warming up and discovery-based methods. You know what I mean? So sometimes I like to let my mind, encourage my mind to wander. But my mind will seldom wander into places that it does not know without encouragement. So what I'd like to do is set up like a chord progression. If I'm working towards something, I almost always use a rhythmic element, which would be the metronome, or, you know, a backing track is a pretty cool thing to use. Backing tracks are where it's at. You know, I think the backing tracks are great. I think also just having the capacity to focus on what it is we're trying to improve. So right now I'm trying to just be mindful of my posture and hope that every single note that lands on my guitar fretboard actually means something. Hack 8301, Hack, good morning. Your head is brighter than my furniture, my future. Yeah, you know, you could put your shades on if you want. Good morning, Raul. Good morning. Fingers 3 and 4 on frets 10 and 12. That's why I forgot my wardrobe, my piece of wardrobe that's usually attached during the morning ritual. I feel like wearing the cover inside is a little disrespectful to the, you know, it's a little disrespectful to the house, but that's okay. It'll help reduce the glare and reduce your need to put on your Maui Jims in the morning. Do you know what I mean? Amen to that. If you need tips on haircuts, you can follow me at Jason Carey Guitar on YouTube. So fingers 1E and fingers 3 and 4, stretching frets to frets 11 and 10 and 12. 1E and a 2, T E and E. Chris, good morning. Play Immortality. Well, that's what I'm approaching now. I don't know, I'm not really sure of the song that you're making reference to. Thankful to have another day here with everyone. Yeah, amen. Oh, Pearl Jam. There you go. All right, Chris, stick around. Let's see if we can. We'll see if we can get that going. what you've stumbled into this morning is something, you know, it's okay to subscribe. It's okay to smash that like button or double tap your screen if you're watching on a mobile viewport, which our data suggests. I've heard that our data suggests that many watch on the mobile viewport in the morning. It's just a low barrier for entry, so it's super easy, super encouraging. Like, it's the difference between leaving your guitar in the case, walking by it, not thinking about it. And then soon, I'm not a guitar practitioner. But if I take my guitar out of its case, place it on a stand, face it towards me in the room, so that every time I walk by, I look at the guitar and I feel guilty a little bit for not picking it up and playing it. That's what we're talking about. We're trying to facilitate moments which encourage us to be guitar practitioners. So 1 E and a 2 and a D, E, 2 and 3, frets 10 and 12. Working on the breath. My father used to say, God made a few perfect heads. The rest he put hair on. Yeah, that's right. The late, great Steve Grover sort of telling me, complimenting me on the shape of my bald head. Smart guy. Great drummer, too. I think Mick Goodrick wears a bald head, right? I've got hair like Fabio, but I prefer the bald head, you know what I mean? So it's just one of those things. Fingers 1 and 2, 10 and 12, 1 E and a 2 and a D. No, I'm not a lefty, but it is. The YouTube app doesn't give me an opportunity to kind of mirror. You know, I have the settings on the iPhone. I stream this on an iPhone, and you know, I got the mirroring setting on my phone set, but YouTube hasn't figured out apparently how to give the live streamer or the whatever the option to flip or mirror the image as it's sending. So I don't know. Doesn't seem like a big ask to me, but hasn't been done yet. Key West, yeah, I love Key West. Fingers 2 and 4 on frets 9 and 12. 1 E and a 2, and you know what to do. I'm a lefty. It sucks guitars everywhere, and I can't. Oh yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, I have had a lot of students over the, you know, when they're just starting out. I haven't done a whole lot of in-person session work lately, but I used to do 7 hours, 8 hours, 9 hours a day, 7 days a week or whatever. You know, I just couldn't keep up with the demand. But and then, you know, I did that for a few seasons in my life, and then decided that it's a good idea to encourage. You know, I thought about encouraging my new students to learn how to play, because if they don't have any preconception of what the instrument's supposed to feel like, there are a lot more guitars made for, you know, skaters or regular and goofy foot, right? So goofy, you know, regular guitar players, like right-handed guitar players, there are so many more guitars available. You're right. It's a challenging market for certain. So 1 E and a 2, fingers 1 and 3 on 9 and 12. But the good news is, if you find a guitar that you I don't typically feel like I need to hop from one guitar to the next. What I like to do is find guitars that I like and keep them. You know, one, I don't really think about guitars as investment, but I know I do, so part of my brain does. You know, what is this collection going to grow to be worth over the next, you know, few decades? And then can I will it to the future generations, or, you know, so that you get, once in a while, you get your hands on instruments that you want to take good care of and be sure that you maintain them over the span of your lifetime. And hopefully you find a few of those in your day. Chris, that's what I'm hoping for you, you know. So fingers 1 and 4 on fret 7 and 12. We'll do the big fat stretch. Fret 7 and 12. So 1 E and a 2. 1 and 4, 7, 12. So I wanted to welcome you to the morning ritual for guitar growth. I'm Jason from Jason Carey Guitar. And I'm your host this morning, and every weekday morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern. This time of year it's daylight time, so that makes a difference, as we found, moving between standard time and daylight time. After this, we're moving into a stretch, so hang right out. Hey, we've got Avoid Ralph. Avoid Ralph is building some guitars right now. He's got a really cool guitar over there that he's, you might see it on this channel in the morning at some point, sooner than later. I'd love to get my hands on it and check it out and see what it sounds like. I don't know if you'd be interested in that or not, but I'd love to play it. So, time for a stretch. We're 17 minutes in, and just a quick sip of the bean, and we'll get a good quality stretch in. I can check in with some of these comments. Is Chris still here? Hey, Wise Up, you ready for Key West? Yeah. All I have is faith to go on today. Let's send some love to our friend Bernie here. Kiss me, I'm left-handed. If the guitar in the stand eventually bends the neck, I think it's always a, I keep several guitars on stands, and then I have wall mount stands that I like to keep the guitars hanging so they get the vibrations of the room. Do you know what I mean? I play a lot of music over the span of a day, and it's good for them to absorb that. You know what I mean? It's like that you know, science fair experiment where there's a control plant. You've all heard this one, I'm sure, but there's a control plant that gets sun and water. There's a control plant that gets heavy metal. There's a control plant that gets classical music. And there's another control plant, and there's another plant that receives Indian classical music, and all of them receive sun and water. But one is just sun and water, one is you know, heavy metal, one is classical, one is Indian classical music. This one just grows at a normal rate. This one grows at a decelerated rate and starts to wilt a little bit in the metal. The classical, the Western European classical music sort of grows at an accelerated rate, but then this one over here, the Indian classical music, does something funny. It grows at an accelerated rate, but it actually starts to grow toward the speaker and wrap itself around the speaker. So there's something happening there that we're not necessarily connected to in the pop stream market, but you know, it's still cool, still worth checking out. But anyway. So we're starting with, we did the finger stretches, so now we're fingers 2, 3, and 4. And we're getting neck deep into this. So 1 E and a 2, 2, 3, and 4, 10, 11, and 12. Halcyon and Kai, good morning. How are you today? Hey, Izzy. Hey, Wayne, good to have you here. Glad that you're chiming in on the live stream here and live chat. That guitar is beautiful. Look at that wood. It's a cool guitar. It's definitely a cool guitar. It's got some electronics in it too, so it's kind of a, you know, a jack of all trades. I haven't named a single one of my instruments yet, but I have a lot of friends and a lot of you like to name your instruments. I like to, I'll call this one Jason, because it's kind of like, it reminds me like the leader of the Argonauts. We're in search for the golden fleece, every single note we lay down. But it is a really cool guitar though, seriously, in all seriousness. Working on those fingers 2, 3, and 4, up and down the neck, we could use a little bit of adjustment on the guitar truss rod. But we are going through a transitional period of season here in the Northeast, so this is pretty much par typical. I know some guitars are treated. I know some manufacturers, fingers 1, 2, and 3 on 10, 11, and 12, 1 E and a 2, here we go. Yeah, some of us treat guitar, some companies treat guitars so that they're a little harder and more road resistant. You know, for example, their necks would be treated with a process and then coated and then, you know, deemed by California to be, you know, carcinogenic. So, you know, you take good with the bad. Hey, Emma Brown, what's going on this morning? So, good morning. Uptal, good morning, Uptal. Hi there, my name is Emma Brown. Emma Brown. Sounds like a good name for a song. I wished I was fishing. I'm headed to work. You know, a bad day fishing is better than a good day at work. That's what I hear. We come from a long line of sportsmen, outdoorsmen, so fishing, you know, wilderness and bushwhacking, getting to the spots, that's in our wheelhouse. Certainly appreciate that. Backland, you know, overland navigation, following the game trails, yeah. My dream is to be a rock singer with a rock band. That's a good dream, Emma. That's totally achievable. You know, let's talk about that a little bit. Fingers 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. We're getting there. 1 E and a 2 and a 3 E and a 4 E and a... So what is it about rock music that we enjoy? There's so many things about rock music to enjoy that it's hard to name like the most alluring part of it. For me, it's not really the lifestyle. You know, I could give or take the lifestyle. I could probably leave it more than I would take it. Been there, done that a little bit, but and survived it, thank God. But it is a pretty wild business, and it's you know, I think a lot of it's about hard work. A lot of it's about gaining the confidence needed and the business sense needed in order to succeed, and where so many others fail. So you know, like so if you're, you know, if you go through the Berklee College of Music, so there's something like a 70% dropout rate, right? Highly competitive school for some reason, and I don't know if it was, I don't know if that's an accurate statistic still, or if it ever was that high. But I think there's that expectation where we where we just show up and just keep showing up, and that's good. But showing up and doing the seat time is even better. You know, showing up and doing the work, that's what we do to get there. And that's what you've stumbled yourself into this morning. So welcome, I wanted to welcome you specifically to the morning ritual for guitar growth. And we do this, I do this we're all here every morning, weekday morning at 7:30 a.m. Let's do the 1, 2, 3, 4 with the fourth finger stretch up to 13. So building all of the fingers so we all sit around the table and can all pass the salt when necessary. 1, 2, 3, stretch 4. 1 E and a 2 E and a T E and a 4 E and a. Have a good day, Easy. Good morning, Anthony. Good morning, Jason. I hope you do well today. I'm going to double tap out. All right. Favorite rock band is Citizen Soldier. Okay, we'll give those guys that band a listen. Sounds good. 3 guitars is a good start. Listening is a good start. And emotion is a big part of it, I think, right? Piano is kind of like the mother instrument, right? All right, so we're working on the fourth finger stretch. So I would recommend if you're looking to gain some proficiencies in the guitar, I would encourage you to subscribe to the channel or show up here every weekday morning at 7:30 a.m. and then we can work through all of these things together. Oh yeah, so the technical issue that we had yesterday is not fixed today. So what I wanted to start with this week is sort of not going to happen this week. We're pushed out to the next week, but that's okay because I just need an amp. I don't have an amp up here with effects loop in it, so I'll just have to rethink or replan. So no problem. No problems at all. 1 E and a 2 and a T. Let's finger this out. Did we do finger 1 stretch? I don't think we did. I don't think so. 1 E and a 2. Eric, good morning. 2. Yeah. I only wish I could be a rapper. I mean, come on, like seriously, like Run DMC. I mean, come on. You know, I've got the attitude for it. Or how about a baseball player? You know, a left fielder maybe. Welcome to the channel, Eric. You know, I'm glad to have you here. You raised some good questions here. Please play one of my tracks, Cutlass Band. All right, we'll check it out. We find you on YouTube here. I used to have a buddy who could flow. He tried to teach me. It's really hard. Did I miss? I think I missed something. Oh, flow, like rapper. Yeah, okay, got it. I just love to sing and scream and rap. Screaming is pretty cool. Good. All right, here's another stretch. Here's to one more stretch every 15 minutes. I'm so guilty, like as we start to get through the day, the tempo starts to ascend 80, 90, 100, 110, 120, 130, 140. Once the tempo gets up there, it kind of makes you hungry, like you've had a few cups of espresso. Do you know what I mean? It's you would just want to keep the gas going, keep the pedal on the metal, so to speak. But it's important for me to, stretch, because after the stretch and the breath, good breath in, good stretch back here, get the arms back to try to counter being all hunched over the guitar. That's a good thing to do, just get the arms back. Sometimes I'll find a doorway, put a hand on each side of the jacks on each side of the door, and what I'll do is just try to stretch into the door like that and just help open up the shoulders a little bit. But here's a good one. All right. Anthony, it does seem like Emma has found the right place, doesn't it? I like that phrase, seems like. I like it. We've got some moderators. If you see a blue wrench over here, if you wanted to thank the moderators for just being here, this is all a completely volunteer act at this moment, at this time in the history of the channel, and they're just here out of a sheer love for the guitar, because they are guitar practitioners in their own worlds, working on bettering their own games, and they're here every day. I mean, it's just. So if you wanted to say thank you to the skilled live chat moderators, that's totally okay. If you see a blue wrench, that's what's going on there. Yeah, I know. All right, Emma, this is good news. This is good news. I hope you sub and show up again. Can I please sing for you? Do you have any? If you have some, sure, you can. Yeah. Let us know if you find, if you drop any videos on your YouTube channel, and we'd love to support the work of others. This is not just about me. This is about all of us. I mean, it sort of is about me, because I'm like literally doing what I'm doing, and you're literally doing what I'm doing, or choosing to do what you're doing. But in whatever case, we're looking at fingers 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. We're getting into some diatonic work today. Yeah, we are. And then what we're going to do is work on pentatonicism again, but this time we're working how to get those Matteo sort of like speed drills up to speed, how to start building those things, okay? So we'll start here, 1E and a 2E and a T and a 4E and a. We're using fingers 1, 2, 3, 4. If this is too fast for you, you can just watch and absorb it and then apply it in your own daily ritual. Or you can go ahead, after these videos finish live streaming, they get posted to the channel under the live tab, so that you can actually like go and rewatch 35 minutes in on demand, right? You can go and rewatch segments if you like, if you choose. And you can even do that at half speed, so that you can actually gain what you're looking for, okay? So let's see. 1E and a 2, it's going to look like this, and then this, and then this, and then this. So we just do this diagonal, return, reciprocal, and then, so really cool stuff. You'll see what I'm talking about. Stick around. 1E and a 2 and a TE and a POE and a. This is a staple workout for me. Once I learned Mr. Steve Vai liked to do this, and John Petrucci, all of the shred guitar players do a variation of this, exercise. And I just love it for what it does to both the fretting and picking hands simultaneously. It's hard to get this kind of this kind of continuity on, wouldn't you agree, Raul? You know, Raul is just burning through a ton of different patterns. And if you're checking out his page, he's got a ton of different finger patterns and workouts if you want to try some new stuff and fold that stuff in. We have an Anthony Tortorello who's in a band called Denim Dennis that they tour, and they're playing actively. They're recording artists as well, so you can check those. All of these people here, like you're seeing Emma, are great guitar players in their own rights, and they're just kind of looking for, not for the next flashy thing, but to do the tried and true, the trusted thing, which is you can't separate success from the work that went behind it. I don't think it's possible. I mean, you could get lucky maybe. But I have, you know, friends owning record stores, and they're like, whenever you drop off a promotional CD or something, a promotional album, he's like, you know, they're like, you know, you thought it was work to produce the record. Well, I see you're dropping off your hard goods here now. This is where the real work begins. This is where most people fail, is in the distribution, the logistics, you know, the entire piece of it, where when you release the record, that's where the actual work begins, right? So a lot of us are never taught that in music business class. Maybe we're taught in music business class, but it's you know, it's definitely one of those things that it requires more work than the writing and production of. Mark, you taking off? It looks like you're taking off. I did see that, Marco. Have a wonderful day, Marco, I saw, like, what is my rapper name anyway? Cloud9 would be good. That's a cool one, yeah, I love it. Cloud9 with no vowels, just so it would be like cool, you know what I mean? CLD9. All right. Super Steven. Play Perfect by Ed Sheeran. Hey, I did a couple Ed Sheeran things, so if you wanted to go search my channel, thank you for asking about that. You can search my channel, Jason Carey Guitar, and search Ed Sheeran and see what comes up for videos. There's some like lesson videos in there, so you could, I forget which ones I've done, or which ones we've done, but you can go ahead and let me know. If I haven't done it, I'll go ahead and definitely get to it. You're not the first person to ask that, so I'd love to help out where I can. John Phillips, good morning. Marco is correct. You are so right. Hit that like button. Double tap the screen. So, oh yeah, good morning. Mad Acoustic. Billy Strings, yeah. Oh, this is a Martin DX2E. I've been playing this since, you know, what is it? Almost a year now, right? Almost a year. Another month, or 1.5 months, it'll be a year. And so Billy Strings has a new DX2 model. I don't know, do you notice that? 1 E and a 2 E and a T, D, 2. Oh, I should tell you what we're up to. We're switching the flip. We're flipping the switch. So we're looking at E. What song that is at the slow tempo, and it being so removed from current a current event, but it's a cool little song, you know. I used to teach this to all my angsty teens back in the day when it was first out. Pretty cool song, but it sets up the tone for certain. The tone is E minor. I think it's a tune by Incubus, I think. Something like that. But we're setting up E minor so that we have a rhythmic background. Mi, mi, do, hey. Mi, mi, do. Good morning, mi, mi, do. How you doing? So we're looking at, is it mi, mi or me, me, do? Oh, that's me, me, do, right? Mi, me, do. So that's a minor, right? Got it. So all we're doing, yeah, that's right, it is 90s. So if you're just tuning in, what you've stumbled into is a morning ritual for guitar growth. And sometimes what we start with always is 60 beats per minute on the metronome. And then we start with, well, we start with breath. And then we start with 60 beats on the metronome. We start with A440 and A string. We get all tuned up and get our breath work all locked in. And then we start with chromatic-style finger exercises and stretches. And that's every day at 7:30 a.m. Eastern. This time of year, it's daylight time. So if that helps you out, achieve your goals, we have a whole banger of a live chat. This live chat just goes off, just crazy. So please join in, and I really appreciate, we all appreciate you chiming in and announcing that you're just here and you have a guitar in hand. Most of the friends here have guitars in hand, and most of us are all practicing together. So today we're working with, that's what it is, drive. Thank you. Good. Mad acoustic, that's right. Very cool. So we've got this nice E minor pentatonic. Let me just bring this over here. Stumbled on a great place for growth. Me, me, do, me, me, do. So we're starting with do, me, what is it? Fa, sol, te, do, me, me, do. Right. Me, me, do. Yeah, definitely. If you know solfeggio, then you'll know the syllables about which I speak, to which I make reference. But we're a three-part abandoned and the Baroque harmony. Good. All right, three-part abandoned and the Baroque harmony. Yeah, we need to start getting into some finger style, like classical guitar. I think what I'll do is I'll get my Cypress all ready to go, and then we'll start working on some finger style basics. So that will also be part of the morning warm up. But what are we to do with E minor pentatonic? So O3, O2, O2. Good. O2, O3, O3. So that's it. So we have just really simple. If I wanted to get it somewhere where I'm not familiar with it, I could just simplify things. I'm not really looking to be a speed demon here. I mean, I am, but I don't want to do that at the cost of my humanity. So the picking sequence, let me just get over here a little bit so that I can share this with you. The right hand pattern, or the picking hand pattern. Sorry for you lefties out there. I know Raul is just kind of got a beautiful Paul Reed Smith, an American guitar that he found. Just looks great, just an amazing sounding guitar. But we do have some actual lefties out there who actually represent it. So I don't want to, I want to be sure that I'm talking about my picking hand and my fretting hand. So I could just play one note, the open string or the lower tone, and then hammer on. So I could do this little hammer on over here where it's just kind of literally like a little hammer. I don't even need the string to be ringing in order to make that hammer work. So I'm just working on hammer on, and then I'm going to either do an upstroke again on that string and do, double that tone, or I'm going up to the next string. So if I don't have a descending pattern worked out in that manner, so I'm starting. So if I'm playing along with my finger style, I'm using, if I'm using a hybrid picking sequence, I'm using that middle finger to grab that open A string. And then that upper neighboring string. And then if I use a finger, like a hybrid picking technique, or just finger style, it's easier to skip strings too, right? So we have a lot just to do in one simple, basic yawn position. You know, we've played this position most of our lives, but we probably haven't patternized it like I know I haven't fully patternized it to its full potential. I haven't realized its full potential. And will I ever realize its full potential in my one lifetime? Probably not. But I'm going to work like a dog to figure it out. So let's see what happens when we find a descending pattern for that. See you later, Rob. Yeah, have a good morning, Robbie. So just simple stuff. So let's go down. Yeah, Uncle Jason, right. Cool to see you, Robbie. Thanks for being here, bro. So we're starting. Sounds like those strings are out of tune a little bit. Just give me one moment just to tune it up here. I forget. Here we go. No, it's Metallica is super approachable. You know, they basically democratized, like, you know, with their Black album, and you know, like the not so much with Injustice for All and, you know, Master and but, you know, as they started to get toward the Black album, they really democratized heavy metal, you know, metal guitar for the masses, didn't they? They really did a good job bringing it home and approachable to that big, fat, powerful, punchy sound to everyone who wanted to participate. It was sort of easy to approach. Yeah, good idea on their part. And then, of course, lock all of the intellectual property down. I have a few tie-dyes left blank. I haven't decided what to put on them. So we're just working minor pentatonic. If I had a pattern, and I wanted to move that through, I want to move that through, let's say, all of the minor pentatonic shapes. Sometimes I play this like this, sometimes I play it like that. Myself at the place from whence I came, one octave higher. So what I wanted to do is borrow, you know, the moving from one note up a fourth of some kind, and then up a third, or the next step available in that pentatonic sequence. So I'm just working on getting that across the guitar neck, let's say, for the example, for the sake of approachability, just the high E and B string. So I'm thinking I could just use the top two notes in each piece of the pattern, right? So I don't need to patternize it. So I can create these little movable mini positions that help me to move. And what is the next rate here? And then we have the, oh, we've got to go up to the minor third here, right? So let's say it's E minor. So we've got that D, that flat 7, the 4 or the flat 3, fourth above, and then it's the fifth above the flat 7, but it's the whole step above the next. So all I'm doing is basically taking pieces of and then just, instead of trying to zap through each one of these full patterns, I don't know if you use your first finger, you know, to reach back, or your fourth finger to stretch on this one, but this one can go in either direction, you know, and depending on what you're trying to accomplish with a fingering problem. So look at this. So we've stumbled on another fingering problem to solve, which is another area of interest, whether we're picking, whether we're finger styling. We have these triplets. We're not really looking to set any land speed records, but what we are trying to do is suture our consciousness throughout these scale patterns that are very melodic in nature and super utilitarian. It's not like we need to deal with the 4 and the 7s like as we would in the major or minor scales or the 7-tone scales. We've eliminated those troublesome spots, so we have these naturally occurring gaps in the scale that make it sound melodic by nature. And then what I would do if I find a trouble spot, like here, for me personally, this is a trouble spot, using that with the 4th finger, so I'd try to work that. Maybe I'd work it a little more by introducing one more string, so that way by the time I descend down to the G string, then I need to skip that B string and get back to the next high E string on time and with purpose. All the while just maintaining my breath. So I've got to keep breathing throughout this entire mechanical process. High apple pie in the sky hopes. Yeah. What a great song. So now that's kind of done. That scale is used in Train Kept Rolling and Rocking in the Free. Oh yeah, there you go. So I'm kind of stuck here. Now I'm going to use that pattern. That's a little harder to get back here because I've got to kick that first finger back, right? And then get that octave. So that stretch is not consistent with the layout and feel of what I've previously worked out. But with a little bit of awareness, that just kind of comes together. Do you see what I mean? So it's just working those little puzzles. And the minor pentatonic, major pentatonic, whatever altered pentatonic scales that we use, they all require that level of attention. Otherwise, So thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate it. Hopefully you got something out of that. I know I certainly did, and we're going to continue to work on minor, major, and pentatonicism in general, right around the key areas of E minor and G major. For maybe the rest of the, I'm not sure if it's going to be the rest of the week yet or not, but I feel like there's a lot more ground that we can, a lot more conceptual things that we can just kind of participate in together. And then you can take it and do what you want with it over the next 3 or 4 lifetimes. And hopefully this inspires you to really get engaged with your guitar. And again, thanks for watching the morning ritual for guitar growth. And I guess we'll meet again tomorrow at 7:30, same place, same time. And bring your guitar if you were unable to bring a guitar today, and we'll play some songs together. And until next time, I wish you, Bernard, I wish you all well today. And I hope you're enjoying your day, and hope all goes according to the plan. Until we meet again. Thanks, Kevin. Thanks, Avoid Ralph. Happy picking, guys. Happy picking.